I hope you all are tipping your delivery people.
I agree. Tipping is important.
Them out here in these streets that are washing away, they're risking their lives every day to carry food to come to you. Because, you know, we're trying to be safe and socially distant, and, you know, these people are going the extra mile and not socially distancing
to
go and get food
like
for you.
Or essential workers, if you think
they really are. They should get hazard pay.
Yeah, they definitely should. We're rallying for you guys.
Look how many times we get food delivered here, like almost every other day. So definitely tip those riders.
Tip them and give them a little, you know, something. Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast, your favorite Caribbean food podcast.
Oh, you drop on it already?
I drop on it already.
That though.
That is the new
It flows out. We can hold on to that one for a little bit.
Yes. So, we missed you guys for a week.
We apologize.
We're so sorry. Life got in the way.
A lot happened for
like
both of us all at once too.
Yeah, it was just a little, you know, life.
It was overwhelming, but
we're back.
Like we never left.
And we're here to talk about exciting things today. So today we actually have a special guest.
Special.
Yes, you're like our first official singular guest.
Oh, I was about to say, be careful with your words because my upset. Okay.
So our guest today is Kii.
Hi guys.
She is from the Culture Wise podcast. She's Ashley's neighbor. She's Tiana's friend from prep school.
Yes.
Yes, so
thank you for my resume.
You're welcome. We all went to high school together.
13 years.
We've known each other
forever.
For a very long time.
You and me going on a couple decades to each.
Yeah, facts.
Damn. Love that.
Yeah, that's
Life
crazy. That's crazy that you like know people for so long.
I was talking about that with mommy, like literally knowing people forever.
Like them just.
There is not a time that I don't think I haven't known you.
That is true.
Nice. Here we are.
Yeah. All right. So today, what I kind of wanted to talk about is something that, you know, has just been on my mind about like food culture and the differences and I guess the interactions that people have with traveling and food. You know, we're in Jamaica. Everybody want to get a US visa.
Yeah.
Everybody want to travel, go foreign. Right. And for those who don't know, is how it go. Foreign is the US and abroad is the UK.
Abroad is
everywhere.
You know?
Yeah, abroad is everywhere else, but
like
foreign
Eastern
is
Hemisphere.
US. Yeah, you cross the Atlantic when you're going abroad.
Abroad.
But when you're just taking a little vacation from the Caribbean Sea,
4 hours.
yeah, a little 1.5 hour to Florida and everything there. It's foreign.
It could be less.
It could be less. But yeah, so. And the reason this has, you know, been relevant to me and I guess to us here is that I went to college abroad, well, in foreign.
In foreign, yes.
Kian went to college
also
in
foreign. Yes.
We were actually, funny enough, both in New York.
Yeah.
Different areas of New York though, but both in New York. And Ashley went to school out here.
I'm just happy to be part of it. Just happy to be a part of the trio.
But you have the local perspective.
Yeah.
Like, the college years are they're also formative years, you know,
yeah.
And food definitely plays a part in especially living somewhere else. It plays a part in relating and being comfortable.
It was important for me in the sense that I was thrown into a space where I did not know what I was going to eat on a daily basis because I'm coming from Campion where I was sure of what I was going to eat every single day. So I guess I got something to contribute.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so you know, it was coming to me. The idea came to me from the perspective of I was in the US for about 4 years. I eat everything. I'm an omnivore. Kian was in the US for 4 years. 5 years? About 5 years. She's a vegetarian.
Pescatarian. I eat seafood because I can't give up my shrimps and my scallops.
Well, there you go. She's a pescatarian.
I'm a lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what has been on my mind, right? And I don't know how you feel about this. Actually, I don't know how you feel about this, given that, you know, it's not like you never go foreign before, like you go foreign. The travel visa, you know, them ting and then ting and
look at purple.
Anyways,
we can go there legally.
So never take no banana boats.
You're feeding into a stereotype, Tiana.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Banana boat get no fish for it. Banana boats.
Anyways, so something that has been on my mind a lot has been my personal relationship with food as I navigated my way through traveling to the US and coming back to Jamaica. And, you know, because I went for school, I wasn't really living in America, and there were times when I would come back to Jamaica and frolic and go back to school. And, you know, I almost felt like I was in a perpetual state. And maybe this is because I want to go to, but I was in a perpetual state of longing for a different kind of food.
Oh no, I definitely relate to that.
Yeah, because I felt like, alright, like when I'm in Jamaica, I'm not gonna lie, like
you crave very specific things.
Like I just love the little quarter pounder from McDonald's, and like I know it's not good for me, but like it is a taste. It's very nostalgic to me because McDonald's used to be up the road from my house when I was a child. And they're no longer in Jamaica now. So one thing for me, and you could ask my parents, it's always been that way. When I go to foreign, I need to stop at a McDonald's,
food,
right? And like now that my mother is living in Atlanta, like I definitely sometimes feel for like a Chick-Fil-A spicy sandwich, and you know there's certain things in America that I do every now and again crave. But then when I was in America, of course, there were days when I craved KFC and I craved a proper patty.
The patty.
And I craved just being able to stop on the road after a part. Like, you know how much time I got party and I said, Lord, I wish I could have just had chicken. I have to go home now. There's no food there.
Let's stop at 7-Eleven and get some god awful
some food
some
that don't really make no sense.
Just something to put in your belly.
So I felt like I was in just this like constant vicious cycle of that. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it encouraged, I think, a lot of like binge eating and overeating, and it encouraged some very unhealthy.
Not to mention the ease of getting food to your literal doorstep.
Right. So it was like I would go to America and then like I feel like, oh my God, like I need to have all of this food because when I'm in Jamaica I don't have it. And then when I'm in America, and then when I come to Jamaica I'm like, oh my God, I need to have all of this food because when I go back to America I don't have it.
Yep.
So it was just like, it's something that I've thought about a lot, and I just wanted to know if anybody else like had that experience, and like how were you feeling, you know, navigating that, especially being like a pescatarian in the space as well.
So people always say that it's easier to be pescatarian or vegetarian in America because they have meat substitutes and things like that. They have farmers markets and stuff like that, but they're still pricey for one. But then the type of things that I can get in Jamaica, like I can go market and I can get my vegetables, and that's enough for me. And the recipes, like I can make an ital stew, I can cook up some callaloo, and so it's easier for me to formulate things to eat from a Jamaican perspective. So in America I find that I have to compromise a lot and eat chicken. And so I don't necessarily want to do that, but that is the ease. Food just became a convenient thing for me, and then it led me to writing an article about the relationship between being pescatarian and being Caribbean because of the type of foods that we eat that are rich in proteins and things like that. So being in America, food was just, it wasn't until I found Trader Joe's.
God bless Trader Joe's. God bless Trader Joe's.
It wasn't thank you, Trader Joe's. It wasn't until I found Trader Joe's where I started to be able to experiment with food, and I wouldn't have to rely so much on outside food and delivering. And then it became, I could enjoy like, oh, you know, I don't feel like cooking today, maybe I should just order out. So it could go back to not as a dependent relationship, like, yeah, I can go back to planning and cooking and things like that. Well, it took a while. It's hard to navigate food in America because you're driving around and everywhere is fast food. Everywhere is a drive-through. Everywhere is grab-and-go stuff. But that's not how we raise. We raise to cook proper meals and you eat a proper lunch and breakfast and dinner. But it was stressful, and you do find yourself eating garbage.
Ridiculous food. And I remember, like, because I mean, you were living at home, were you?
I was on campus and then I moved home for my last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was on campus the whole time, and my campus was very insular. There was, I mean, people joke and say it's in the bush. It kind of in the bush. It's not like proper bush, but like bushy, you know?
Yeah, I was on Long Island. It was pretty much bush and water.
Yeah, and it's like, so there weren't like that many like options around. On top of it, I was there on...
Everywhere you had to drive.
Yeah.
Anywhere worth going for food, you had to drive.
There. And I, one, never have no car.
Right.
Two, I was also on a pretty substantial financial aid package that covered all of my meals at school. So sometimes I felt it's almost like I had to eat the food at school that I didn't enjoy.
Oh gosh.
Because
campus food.
I felt like it was already paid for, you know?
Yeah. And then you're guilt eating.
And then you're guilt eating food. So like you're in the dining hall eating food that I'm not even gonna say that it tasted bad, but it's just not
it's insufficient.
It's not what I'm accustomed to eating. You know, it was just very bland
and then
food.
And then you find yourself thinking about it's Friday, I could be eating some pan chicken from Campion.
And then because of that, you lean towards the things that you know where it tastes good, like the chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
Exactly. And the fries, like you lean towards those things.
You start to have your safe meals.
Exactly, which tend to be unhealthy meals.
Exactly, because it's things that you know are going to taste good.
Yeah.
And living out here, I don't have that problem. My problem out here is choice. Abundance of choice.
Yeah.
Every day I'm like, what do I want to make? What if I feel like ordering food? What do I feel like eating? If where I was living, if you go on now Uber Eats and one of them things there, most of the options is fast food.
Yeah.
And
especially because fast food companies are run by big corporations that can afford to pay the extra dollars to be at the top of. If you never know that, it costs more to be at the top of the Uber Eats page than the bottom.
They say that about Yelp as well.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about Yelp.
Yeah.
So when you search, certain things come up first because they pay to be there.
Yeah. So Ashley, like, I mean, neither.
What were you eating for lunch?
Yeah, what were you? How was the food situation at UE? Because it's not like we didn't have no meal plan or nothing.
So we have like fast food restaurants on campus. I think we have KFC, Juicy Beef is already like a fast food restaurant, and then we have like cook shops.
Burger King just come too.
Burger King came after I finished undergrad, so it never really counted for me per se. And it was hard to get food in the days because the campus is so small, but we have so many students, and then with select few food stops. Obviously, everywhere is full at all hours of the day, and if I can remember correctly, I actually lost weight when I started UA. Because some days it just felt like a bother for me to get food because I did not want to stop and like go in the lines and wait. And if I didn't leave campus and go, thank God, I'm fortunate to be one of the students who starts school with a car. So I could have driven off campus. But then when you consider driving off campus to get food to come back for classes, it was just too much.
It's a lot.
And it was really and truly only the days that I would go on the road and get food, which was not every day of the week, that I would eat. So I ended up losing weight because of that. And every time I used to have to consider what I'm having for lunch today, it would always be me going back to saying, if I was at Campion, if I was still at Campion, I would not have this problem because my meal would be set up for me already. So I had to learn to navigate what would be the most convenient to get close to campus as it relates to the time of the day when because classes are spaced out. Sometimes you don't have class till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes you start at 8 a.m. and you don't finish till 8 p.m. So it was very hard for me in that aspect. So I ended up losing weight because of that. So I had to make like a conscious effort to make sure I eat on a daily basis because I saw how much weight I lost. So in the morning, I'll be like, all right, so my schedule is set up today. I can go here at that time because I have the most time between sessions and this place won't take long. Ordered from before, so I run go pick up and then I would like call my sister and be like, so you free right now? Make we go eat. So I used to eat a lot with Shanice and her friends back in undergrad because of that. And any other day I would just find some simple like snacks or like a patty, which added to me not eating healthy as well. Yeah. Just because the food options were not great. But as it relates to like experience abroad, I think I have a similar experience with Tiana, being like craving certain things because I'm so used to traveling at least once a year, and I would get like my fill of what I normally want. So as soon as I fly in, I have to go to McDonald's because I have a problem with Big Macs. It's like it's an obsession.
No, like God no, like
I have to get the McDonald's, and I something about
when I used to eat beef, the Big Mac was my
the Big Mac. I have an order at McDonald's. I get a Big Mac. I'll get a chicken nuggets.
You hear that, McDonald's? That's the Ashley. That's the Ashley meal.
Order. Like I have to go and I have to
meal.
get a Big Mac, and I have to get chicken nuggets, and I have to get a McChicken. Like it's like a drunk order. You know, like when you leave the club at late at night, I order a whole heap of food. That's how I felt about McDonald's, and I just have to
McDonald's hack. If you ask them for no salt, they have to make you a
fresh fries.
I think I've heard that. I saw it online.
So you get a hot thing of fries, and they're already salty because them don't change the oil.
Yeah.
And another thing with me was that back when Jamaica never have, there's a period of time when Jamaica had Twinkies, but then they didn't have it at all.
And Twinkies stopped production. Twinkies properly shut down, so it wasn't available anywhere.
But there was a time when Jamaica just never have it, and then we had it for a short period of time, and then it just disappeared again. But I remember like going, and I used to spend like a weekend with my aunt in New York. She used to go out and buy a box of Twinkies because she knew I was coming, because that's how much I love Twinkies. Like, and I know I can't get it in Jamaica, so I have to get it over there. And like other little things like Dr. Pepper or like a certain brand of iced tea, I know I can only get it there. So whenever I used to go, whenever I fly out, there are certain things I have to get because I can't get it out here. And I think it's a similar experience with you. So whenever you come back to Jamaica after being away for so long, you know, you have to get your fill of all that you have available here, because when you go back, you're not gonna get it.
Exactly. I remember there was a time when I came back here and I literally had KFC every day for 5 days.
There's like absolutely nothing wrong with that though.
And I was, at the time, I was just like, I never feel no way because
I'm on vacation.
Right? But you know, like obviously in hindsight, like, was that the best decision I could have made?
But were you happy at the time?
Exactly, you were happy, and
that's
life.
That's not true.
Right.
But you know, so it just, I don't know. I just feel like that's a problem that exists in my mind with like the food. Like I feel like there's one part of me that's like, eat what you want because you only have one life to live, and sorry to sound morbid, but we're all gonna die. And at the rate that we're going, like a lot of food is processed. A lot, like food that you don't even think is processed, is processed.
Yes.
And so it's just like, why not just enjoy the things that make you happy? And I mean, the last time we spoke about comfort food and, you know, serotonin and dopamine being released when you eat food. So like, why not enjoy? But then there's a flip side that's like, but it's not like healthy food don't taste good.
Right.
And I'm definitely one of those people who, like, I don't believe that there is vegan food or vegetarian food.
I feel that.
It's food. Food is food, and everyone should be able to enjoy in all types of food.
Without it being categorized, because then it's stereotyped and it's labeled and it's stigmatized as well.
If you like how it tastes, then eat
that
it.
should be enough.
That should
be enough.
Because I feel like even though I consider myself an omnivore, I will just have certain times when I'm leaning more towards something than the other. Like the day we were craving salads.
Yeah.
Right? So we just had a salad and it was good.
No, there's some days I do crave salad too.
Right?
Just made
and
a
because like
salad.
it's just something that you want in the moment. But I feel like if I was supposed to have a salad every day for 5 days, you're going to hear say, I'm a vegetarian now and all of that.
Me would have vexed though.
But that's not, you see, that's not the case. So I just dabble in everything. Like, I feel like if I was supposed to just, I have a friend who, he does the first 3 months of the year, seafood only. Like, and he's very strict with this. And I remember it's a guy friend that I have where, big up yourself, Shane Palmer. Haven't seen you in a while, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm gonna reply to your message that you sent me. Because I know I haven't replied to the last one. But Shane and I have a style where we'll just randomly go out for dinner, like in the middle of the week. Like Shane will call me and say, get ready, 25 minutes, it's dinner time. And we go random places. And I remember it was always a struggle to find somewhere to eat because Shane have to get seafood. And because the first 3 months of the year, him not gonna eat anything other than fish. And he was very strict with it. And he did it every year for a period of time, and then he would just go back to meat afterwards. So he never classified himself as a pescatarian. Him just like food, but him just feel like 3 months of the year I'm not gonna deal with the fish. But then I think it was last year that he decided that he was gonna continue with the fish thing because he felt like he was a lot happier, he was a lot healthier on that diet, and then he got to a space where he couldn't be jumping into everything else. But then at the same time, it's still just food.
Yeah. My saving grace in college was that I got lucky and I got a kitchen freshman year. And it was only because my roommate's roommate had just moved out. I don't know where she gone. But big up she, because I started the spring semester as opposed to fall. Yeah. And I just got lucky and got a dorm with a kitchen. So I was able to cook. Well, and that is what saves your life in college, like being able to prepare your own food.
I never
having
had
a space
kitchen
for a fridge. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never had a kitchen until senior year. So I mean, there was
all my 3 years I was lucky enough to get a kitchen.
All 3 years I lived in the same building, as in freshman year to junior year, and all of the houses, all of the dorms have one kitchen.
Yeah.
But I lived in the building with 9 floors.
Think about
Mine
that
was the highest
Corona
building.
times, dog.
I was not going down in that
ridiculous.
kitchen. The most I went down in that kitchen for was ice, and I dipped. Like, worse, it was in the basement.
Yes, they're always in the basement. You're gonna put the kitchen in the musty basement.
Yeah,
dog.
things would it never smell nice. It was
the more you guys talk about it, America just makes 0 sense.
And it don't make no sense, dog. And you see the people them cleaning, dog. And the place still nasty.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just, the more I think about, obviously, I'm very grateful for the time that I got to spend living in the US. Not necessarily because it was the US, but more because it was outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it was a worthwhile experience.
Yeah, it was a worthwhile experience. But I definitely being in America definitely gave me opportunity to have new food experiences. Being in America, that was the first time. It's the first time I ever had Thai food. It was the first time I ever went to a Cuban restaurant.
That's another good thing.
I then went to Cuba later on and got Cuban food. Yeah. But it was the first time I was trying so many things. It was the first time we went to a bougie ass restaurant where there was a bouncer at the front door.
Listen, guys, I don't know if that's a story for a different episode, but one time I was in New York and Tiana to come stay with me for the weekend. So she came down from school and we're at my family's place, and my cousin was like, we're going out for dinner. We went to a barbecue joint for dinner.
Yeah.
And
I don't even remember what I had at the barbecue restaurant.
At something like that in Brooklyn. I don't remember. But at 12 o'clock in the night when the restaurant closed, Shane was like, make we go get some dessert. I know a place. So we thought we were going to a little ice cream parlor.
Like a cake,
bro,
ice cream.
We drove to Manhattan. I went to the bougiest restaurants I've ever been to in my entire life. I don't know if you've been to a bougie place.
I don't think I've ever been to a bougie restaurant.
But let me tell you, we
went to the bathroom did bougie.
It was like a nightclub.
I could see my face in the tile. And it wasn't a mirror.
We're going to the restaurant. First of all, the restaurant was a bouncer. Like a club. I have to be let in, and we sat down, and we never want to look on the price because we don't say it's bigger than me. But we literally only went for dessert. Because we had dinner already, and let me tell you, it was so much the best dessert I've ever had.
It was a great dessert. That's the one thing I think Americans do well.
Dessert. They know their sweets.
They know their way around the sugar, the flour, the eggs, and the milk.
And they do know barbecue.
They do know barbecue.
The South,
and I want to say the different types of barbecue that they have around the coast, West Coast barbecue versus South Coast. It's very I think what makes impressive.
I think what makes America different in terms of food is that it is truly diverse. Jamaica is diverse, but everybody's Jamaican.
Yeah.
So we still eat the same kind of food. Even Jamaican Indian food is still Jamaican Indian food.
I mean, Chinese food is probably the biggest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Chinese. Lamar tell me that what Chinese food in China is nothing like
I know
Chinese
food. But in America, the Chinese, it will be authentic, truly authentic, no spin. Maybe that's because America don't have no flavors to incorporate.
But
so you truly do get diverse food experiences.
So, but question, and this is something I was thinking about when Tiana brought the idea for this episode. Even though all of us have experienced different types of food in the US, and yes, it's diverse, but does America actually have a food culture outside of fast food chains?
No,
because when you come, they don't. No. And that's what I think as well.
The food culture is imported.
Right.
That is
the food culture. And because America is so big, I don't think America will ever have a food culture.
It is too big.
Because it's way too big. people are way too spread out.
Each state is like a country.
Each state is like a country. The demographics of each state, each town, each county,
There's
different.
a joke I was running. You can literally bend the corner in some places on Long Island and be in a totally different vibe, neighborhood.
Long Island.
It's madness.
Yeah.
It is so diverse.
Yeah, and it's like so I don't think, honestly, I don't subscribe to the idea that America doesn't have a food culture, because it does. And as Ashley said, it's just fast food.
Yeah.
Without America, and this is historically speaking, without America, the existence of fast service foods, like, and you know, when you say fast food, there are certain things you think about. You definitely think of a burger.
Burgers.
You definitely think of fries. You definitely think of hot dogs.
Yeah.
You think
Tacos,
of like
fried
tacos.
chicken,
You know, those
handheld food.
America is the birthplace of all of those
drive-thrus.
Drive-thrus.
And that's something that we celebrate so much, like in different countries, not just in Jamaica, and the convenience of it. And that's what America's food culture is: convenience and the ease.
Right.
And the
That's
ease
a
of
good.
access.
That's a good.
Because that's how I think about it.
Meanwhile, our food is big. Every time you see a Jamaican, it's not even a holiday. Jamaicans getting together
like,
Sunday, on Instagram.
You have to scan the table.
More time, you all have to do it over because you run out of time. So you have to say, all right, I'm going to move fast and I want to still get all of the food.
You know what? That is Sunday dinner.
Yes.
It's just Sunday dinner.
It's just Sunday dinner.
Yeah, so for like Jamaicans as a whole, our food culture is not necessarily that we have to have like a special occasion, but every time there's food in front of us is an event.
It is.
Or every event is centered around food. Like
we make it into a food.
Or we make it about food. Every time we go have a link up, in my head I'm just like, because like the other day when I had you guys over, I was like, alright, it's like 7 of us, because I was like, okay, us, and obviously I count Bradley, so I counted 7 people, and I was like, would it be best if we order KFC or order Pizza Hut or order Domino's? And that is just like the main question that was running through my head all the time, because I'm just like, people coming over, we're just coming to par, but food half a day, you know, and everything is just so important with us as it relates to food.
Yeah, I think I made a caption the other day that was like talking about that. Like, one of the things that I love about food is like, it's not just food, like it's become such a social thing.
Yeah,
food is social.
And it has, and I mean, I think about all the time, like we used to say at Vassar, how like the Dees, which is the dining hall, the Dees was like the social area. Because I used to, being at Campion, we
had the
during break time, you did just par, like, and you know, I think every Jamaican, maybe should I extend this to Caribbean? Like, I think everybody, even some American high schools, like, you have that one spot where you know when lunchtime comes,
certain cliques are gonna
everybody in your crew will be there. So all if you're the first person to get there, you know, so you can't sit down there and wait because people coming.
And then put your bag in.
And put your bag down and like, this is my spot, At Vassar, there was not that par culture. And I miss that. Like, I miss just being able to par. But at Vassar, it was like, what was the culture was you're basically scheduling your pars around meal times.
Yeah.
Like, that's when we'd hang out. Because it would be like, we'll go to class and then we'll come from class and we'll all sit together and eat. And then we'll just go our separate ways. So it was like, I think that's when I really started to view food as like this social tool, that it wasn't just about food. It's not just about watching your weight or trying to be healthy. It's about sharing this bond, this experience with people. And you know, that was definitely
trying to remember that quote that we had at the end of one of those episodes. We were talking about food culture when we were watching Down to Earth with Zac Efron episode he did in Costa Rica.
I remember that
every food, every meal is a ritual.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was very nice. We
had places to par at Stony, but they did change the dining hall situation, and the main par place became a swiping place, and so it ruined that culture.
Yeah.
But we never even did have to eat to par there. It was just the place. So it's funny because we had the social part without the food, even though it was a dining hall. So people would go there to hang out because that's where everybody is, even if you weren't necessarily eating.
Yeah.
But funny enough, that changed at midnight when everybody's stumbling and drunk, because that's the only time they had actual good food, because they had wings and they had
that's the same thing at Vassar, you know, like, well, I wouldn't say good
fries
food, like healthy food,
but good
but
drunk
like
food.
like them one time them all bust out
Grilled.
corn dogs.
my team,
like I don't even remember what they used to have. They used to have some ridiculous things at midnight that were so good, and I'm like, am I going to really leave my yard to go and have
corn dogs? Yes.
My order was a grilled cheese with tomato, curly fries, and then sometimes if I went to the cafe at the hospital, I could get an omelette in the middle of the night.
Oh wow.
Yep, but only at the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, but for the
We're in
most part,
Jamaica, I can get corn dogs. I love corn dogs, you know. Like
some my mother used to buy them in a Walmart and carry them down here.
I've never seen corn dogs in Jamaica.
I don't think
them sell them down here. If them sell them down here, then probably each up in one corner and price.
I can make it still. I know the recipe.
It wasn't until a Jamaican like a proper Jamaican restaurant came onto my campus that they had to change the food to keep up with the standard of the Jamaican restaurant. Because
of competition.
Because of competition. It's a guy, his name is big up Kaden and my, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you really actually can't hate the nuances of capitalism, right?
You can.
You can.
And him saying that he wanted to have a food truck. He wanted to have a food truck on campus, but they said, no, come take the contract. And then all of the restaurants around him had to bring up the quality, because the Jamaican, he might bring salmon, he might bring shrimp, he might do ribs, he might
from his food truck?
No, but they gave him a restaurant in the cafeteria.
Wow.
That's lit.
Everybody had to come. They even changed the vendors after. I'm not saying it's him do that, but definitely the standard was increased.
Mm-hmm. Jamaicans really know how to set a standard.
Oh, they definitely do.
Facts.
Yeah,
we really shine in spaces.
And we respect food. Americans just
I think it's because of how big of a part food plays in our culture. So wherever we go, we bring that with us.
Yes.
And it's so funny how I have friends in so many different states in the US, but they will always gravitate towards one Jamaican restaurant. And it's a Jamaican restaurant where them know the order what them want from before them go. Them know what time them going, because them know what time the oxtail come off of the stove, and them know what time it's fresh. And it's like, it's the same for everybody. Like they stick to it because one, it's something that's familiar, it's close to home, it's nostalgic, so you go and you get your fill whenever you're missing home, but then you're also sure of the food being good.
Right.
You know,
it's a standard.
I like that you say in Jamaica we respect food. And the first thought that came to my mind was, I feel like in Jamaica, and I mean, obviously I never lived my entire life in America, I never grew up in America, so forgive me if I'm a little off, but
after living there for 4 years at a pivotal moment in your life,
I think difference lies, at least maybe not the whole difference, but there is a considerable part of the difference. I think it's because of capitalism. I definitely think a lot of food is commodified in the US.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like this idea of like, I buy food for myself. I'm not gonna share it with you because it costs so much money.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm gonna cook a spread for my birthday. Everybody needs to contribute to the spread because I can't afford to be sharing my food with everybody else. Whereas like in Jamaica, I mean, when I think of growing up having birthday parties, and I mean, when I think of all the times that Christmas dinner was hosted at my house, and
food just spill off.
Food is spilling off the table. Nobody's concerned with who brought what.
As a matter of fact, it was never like that in my household.
It's I remember, this tastes nice. Auntie so and so.
It wasn't even like that for me because growing up, my house was always the house for Christmas dinner. We'll host or we'll see at least 35 people on one day.
You live because you live on one farm.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, as it relates to the food, not the size or the number of people. My parents would just cater for everyone. I never once hear a complaint or to say, oh, this person will bring this, so we do after that. It was never like that. Everybody just come and enjoy themselves.
Even just the idea of like, You go to somewhere for food. Somebody invite you.
By the way,
somewhere.
I want a man to take to Christmas dinner this year because my grandmother go ask me
Christmas
about it
dinner
again.
keep Ashley.
That's a lie.
Social distance. Don't bring no stranger in.
You some have a farm. You some have a farm. Don't it? You some have a farm. Don't it? I have the space. Go ahead, girl. Because you have money already, you can talk. So listen, I need a little food partner for Christmas dinner this year.
She wants
because
a Christmas
the other day when I go down to the house for my mother's birthday, my grandmother come step to me and ask me why I do have a man because my brother girlfriend was there, my sister boyfriend was there, I do like it. So
and you with your too long and them.
Shut up. I was actually in the kitchen making a potato salad and she won't come step to me and ask me where my man is. Anyway, I digress.
But yes. Anyways, even just the idea of like you go somewhere, somebody invite you to a dinner. Like how we were invited to Ashley's house the other day for Ashley's mother's birthday. Ashley's mother don't know me from me in a diaper, but me get invited to the little birthday festivity, the little birthday get together, and I did not contribute a cent to that meal, and many people did not. But at the end of the meal, everybody get to take home.
Yeah.
Everybody from the food left over, everybody get a piece.
People judge you in America.
People judge you in America.
Yeah.
If you can't walk nowhere with no container.
As a matter of fact, my parents are offended if them giving you food for carry on. You say no.
Ashley all call me from before and tell me to remember to bring my container.
Because I send food home for your
exactly.
father. And you never bring home food.
That's another story.
Food cook for people.
Exactly.
Even things like when you when you're a child and your friends come over and your parents wanna go eat on hungry and them thing that you go in at the people them house in America and you sit down there dead.
Oh no, that's unheard of.
I feel like that's someone's personality.
It's just like unless you say something like, "I don't want to order a pizza."
But
like,
you know it's Jamaican. It's a Jamaican culture. It's a Jamaican root. Because even when Tiana they come stay with me in New York, my aunt is Jamaican. As Tiana walking at the house about 11:30 in the morning, my auntie go look on her and ask her if she want oxtail and rice and peas.
It's only
like it's just
Caribbean
welcoming.
I would even say maybe it may be an African American thing as well.
Yeah.
It can be extended to
Caribbean households and African American and black households.
Yeah, black culture.
Because we have the same. we have the same roots, let's say, and we have the same intrinsic values.
And I mean, if you look at it,
family gathering,
even thinking
community.
Thinking about like African, the way Africans treated food.
Yeah.
And when I say Africans, I mean people from the continent of Africa.
Different tribes in Africa.
But I think, from at least everything that I've read, food was always very integral in African society.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you think about, let's not even go that far back. Let's go to slavery. Mm-hmm. When they were here on these new lands, eating was a big thing. Because, granted, there is the scraps them did get to eat. But I'm sure made a feast out of those scraps.
We got oxtail out of it, guys.
We're still eating
and we're
celebrating those
and
things.
And it's still communal because when you think about it back then, first of all, you never have to buy back then you couldn't go out and buy no food. You just get the food that you get.
Yeah.
And that food
make something else.
That food did just have to share for everybody in that on a plantation, for example. It's not you and your mama you put on the plantation. You meet somebody where come from the other end of the African country where you come from. You never yet meet them in your life.
And
these people have now become your family. It's like it's chosen family.
And you know that you have to look out for each other in this situation.
And when you think about it, possibly food was something for them because we know the lifestyle that they had back then or how little of a lifestyle they had and the experience of how horrible it was. When you think about sharing a meal with somebody that you might not know, but somebody that just look like you, somebody who's on the same level as you, it brings some form of bonding and it gives some form of identity back to you because you're sharing a meal and you're bonding and you're getting to know somebody else, and it's that for one, how many times are they fed? Probably twice a day. And for those 2 times when you're not in the sun hot being tortured by a white supremacist, whoops, I should have said that, or just a white slave owner, you are now in a space where finally you can breathe a little bit. You can say, yo, let me take it down a notch. And food is what created that space because you stop because of meals. You have to eat. Yeah. And then and obviously it probably meant something a little bit more than just eating because now you're bonding or you're sharing an experience with someone else that is just on the same level as you, even if it's somebody that you don't know.
Yeah. So just, in conclusion, I think there's definitely a difference between how people interact with food in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, versus in the US, and probably definitely in the UK as well.
Yeah.
It's just
foreign and abroad.
Foreign and abroad. It's just it's different, and it may very well be because of the history of the people itself.
True.
But at the end of the day, eat what you grow what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
As well.
and everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation, but also.
But if you want to eat the entire box of macaroni and cheese, go ahead.
Lord.
We've all been there.
And the pint of ice cream.
Somebody messaged me after and be like, so Ashley, you want to tell me why you had the entire pint?
But
once?
that was me and Keisha. That's our therapy.
It's just some Ben and Jerry's.
We get a box of pads and we get our Ben and Jerry's. Yep.
Big up Keisha. Big up Keisha.
That's a ritual.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll definitely try to keep on track this time and come with another episode in the next 2 weeks. But thank you guys for listening. Eat White Girl Grow It. Continue to social distance.
Check out the Culture Wise pod at Culture
Yes.
Wise.
or crossover queen is
Yeah, check out the Culture Wise podcast.
I'll be featured on one of the episodes, guys.
Yeah, hit up Kii
At
for
Kivina, follow my pages and them thing there.
And her photography page at what?
At Kii McKoy Photography.
Yeah, she does photography. She does content curation. I'm an artist, baby. I'm an artist. She's an artist. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good week and see you next time.
Stay safe. Bye, guys.
Bye.